Welcome! In this series of short videos, we will look at topics for the PowerBasic Console compiler. Today, we will look at the WaitKey console command. Today, we're going to concentrate at looking at the console's WaitKey command. So, first of all, we will tidy up our code and remove the bits we're not going to be using today. With the code we have now before us, we are using a console in the PowerBasic Console compiler. We're setting the screen size, we're setting the caption on the console, and we're setting the foreground color. And we're moving the console to the top left-hand corner of the window. We have used the wait command quite often for our console applications to signal the end of our application, to allow the screen to pause while we wait for the user to press a key. However, the WaitKey command can be used for more than just that. Currently we're using the WaitKey just to wait for any key to be pressed. The WaitKey command is actually a console command. The full syntax of the WaitKey command is con.WaitKey. However, you can get away with just typing WaitKey, it will still accept that. Now WaitKey on its own will just wait for any key to be pressed. What we can do before that is we can actually look for a key specifically. If we define a local variable, str input, we can actually send whatever key the user presses to that variable. And we can output that to the console. So if we run that program, and now we press any key, for example the letter P, the letter P will be detected, picked up, put into the str input variable and displayed on the screen. So you can quite happily use the WaitKey to wait for a specific key to be pressed. If you wish the user to press Y or N to indicate yes or no, you could quite happily trap that and put it into the str input variable. However, WaitKey can go slightly further than that, and it can wait until that type of key has actually been pressed. There are optional parameters. Putting in a list of characters which it will wait for, this will wait for those characters to be pressed and will ignore any other key. So if we run that one now, pressing the P button on the keyboard will do nothing. And the computer will continue to do nothing until either the Y or the N key is pressed, either uppercase or lowercase. If we do for an uppercase Y, it will accept it. So this way, the WaitKey can be a little delay routine looking for specific keys. Now, you may wish to have at the end of your console programs a message to a user who may be watching the running of the console program, and that the program has reached some significant stage and you wish to pause it briefly in order for the user to see this information. However, you don't want to have to change your program just on the off chance that there's a user sitting watching it. So WaitKey does give you an additional option for a timeout. If we set a timeout in milliseconds, so 3000 would be 3 seconds, we can quite happily take that timeout and put it in as another one of the optional parameters to WaitKey. And if we run this, the program will wait, and after 3 seconds it will automatically time out. So this allows you to display a message to any potential user who's watching the application, wait for their input, and after a certain length of time you can time out and continue normally. This gives you a great deal of flexibility. However, can we do more than just trap buttons on the keyboard? Can we trap the mouse? The answer is, of course, yes. In order to trap mouse button clicks or mouse movement, we need to actually use the ConMouse command. The ConMouse command, as we will see from the help file, allows you to define which console mouse events and buttons should be trapped. This is done as an event code and a button code. Setting these values will allow you to trap which buttons you're looking for and which events you're looking for. So what we're doing here, we're looking for 2 or 4 in the event codes. That's a double click or a button press. And 1 or 2 in the button codes, which is either the left or the right mouse button. So, having defined all of those, we need to turn the mouse trapping on. So with the ConMouse on, mouse trapping is now enabled. So what we can do now is we can put a message out to the screen, for example, press any key to continue. We can then do a wait, waiting for our input, and then we want to pick up the event and button codes. So we'll set 2 local variables up to pick that information up. So here we have an event code string and a button code string. Now, if the length of the output is 4 characters, we know that what has actually occurred is not just a button push. This is actually a mouse event. Otherwise, we'll know it's a straightforward button push. And if that's the case, we will then output the value to the console. This will allow us to test the value, and if it equals n, we're forcing it to uppercase of course, then we can put a message out to say we're leaving the application, otherwise we would continue within the application into some other part of the processing. What do we do to pick up the actual mouse events? Can we tell which button has actually been pressed? Well, since we know the str input contains 4 characters, the first 2 characters you can ignore, but we can actually test the next 2 characters. And we will do this in a select statement. So we're using the mid dollar to test the 3rd character for 1 character. Now this is the one that's going to pick up the events. It's either going to be a mouse movement, a double click, a button press, or a button release. And the case statements on this would go in as so. Anything which is a character with a code of 1 would be mouse movement. And the other ones, 2, 4 and 8, would be double click, button press, or button release. So we can put case statements in for those quite happily. So we're looking for CHR$1, 2, 4, or 8. So this was allow us to pick up what kind of event it was, and we would do exactly the same on the 4th character to pick up what button had been pressed. Either no button, a left button, a right button, a 2nd, 3rd or 4th left button. On the values of 0, 1, 2, 4, 8 and 16. So if we tried running that now, and clicked with the left mouse button, it would correctly pick up the fact it was a button press and the left mouse button had been actually clicked. If we run it again and try the right mouse button, it would pick up the right mouse button. So you can see from this, the humble wait key statement can do a great deal more than just wait for a key to be pressed. You can actually specifically look for a single key, you can wait for a timeout, or you can actually capture mouse events. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching.